Ford has a long history of building popular trucks and SUVs. The original Bronco appeared in 1966, and it was intended as a competitor to Jeep International Harvester products. Initial sales were strong but faded as the market shifted towards vehicles with more onward refinement and amenities. The second-generation Bronco debuted in 1978 and was considerably larger and luxurious by contemporary truck standards, as it now shared the F-100 chassis. Continued refinement made Bronco a popular choice for those seeking full-size utility. The Bronco II premiered in 1983. The smaller Ranger platform afforded better economy at a time when gas prices were unpredictable. The Bronco II was too small to really be competitive, and the much larger Explorer was introduced for the '91 model year to allow growing families something to transition to. The four-door Explorer added over 22 inches in length and 730 pounds compared to the Bronco II, making it a true mid-size competitor. Styling is clearly Ranger influenced, and some exterior and interior components are easily interchangeable. The cabin was both widened and lengthened considerably compared to the Bronco II, and interior quality was improved. Though the Explorer shared the same dash as the Ranger, the higher trim levels in particular were anything but truck-like. Though it's safe to say many 90s style trends have just not stood the test of time, the interior of the first-generation Explorer remains quite handsome even by modern standards. While competitors aimed for younger buyers with wild color schemes and trim options, the Explorer aesthetic attempted to appeal to the more mature yet adventurous type. In keeping with Ford tradition, four-door trim levels included the XL, XLT, and the top-of-the-range Eddie Bauer edition. The two-door model was offered in XL, Sport, and Eddie Bauer trim levels. The XL trim level was the most basic for both two- and four-door models, while the two-door Sport package and four-door XLT added standard features such as alloy wheels and optional two-tone paint. For those who missed the Bronco II, the two-door Explorer Sport, as seen here, was a very attractive substitute. Though the Explorer two-door is often simply referred to as Explorer Sport, the designation in early models actually refers to a trim level featuring black lower body coloring and other black accents. As with the four-door, the two-door Eddie Bauer was the top of the range and featured light sandalwood body accents and luxury aluminum wheels. Offering 155 horsepower and 220 foot-pounds of torque, the standard 4-liter V6 provided adequate power for towing and decent economy for the time. A wide array of options and configurations upon introduction helped ensure Explorer's path to success. Explorer entered its second model year with few changes visually, other than revised exterior color options and minor trim revisions. Push-button 4x4 remained standard on four-wheel drive models, and a manual locking hub with manual transfer case option also remained available for all trim levels. Option packages made it easy for buyers to equip their Explorer to precisely suit their preferences. The Explorer two-door proved particularly popular with both the younger target audience as well as empty nesters seeking adventure. The lower trim color on Eddie Bauer models switched from light sandalwood to mocha for '92. Mocha wheel accents were also included exclusively for the '92 model year. As with the '91 model, a shade of tan was the only interior color offered on Eddie Bauer models. Light sandalwood on '91, and mocha for '92. It wasn't long before the Explorer was a common sight. The combination of rugged good looks and genuine versatility appealed to a broad range of potential buyers. Previous Ford hits such as the Ford Mustang and the Taurus succeeded by offering a diverse array of configurations, and the Explorer was no different. Though mostly seen in suburbia, the availability of manual locking hubs and transfer case gave the Explorer genuine off-road credentials. The Ranger-based Explorer competed very well against the four-door Blazer and all other similar rivals, and was the genesis of the truly modern SUV. 1993 was the year one of my favorite movies of all time was released, Jurassic Park. While most were in awe of the terrifying dinosaurs and Jeff Goldblum's bare chest, my fascination was with the explorers. I was a teenager at the time and wasn't really aware of the explorer until this movie. I had previously dismissed it as some sort of Ranger station wagon thing, but something about those glorious beige interiors and the Vista View roof as viewed on the big screen was just mesmerizing. And the interactive CD-ROM was the icing on the cake. As cool as the gas Jeeps are, I always wondered why they didn't use the two-door Explorer in place of the Jeeps. There are numerous Jurassic Park tribute cars, but it would be fascinating to see the two-door version that could have been. Please comment if you've seen this done. The transformation of this mild-mannered family SUV into something so iconic truly is the stuff of movie magic. And of course, the iconic Jurassic Park color scheme. The bright yellow, neon green, and dashes of blood red truly helped make this one of the most legendary movie cars of all time. Throughout 93 and 94, the Explorer received a few revisions, such as factory or dealer-installed fog lights, as well as standard 4-wheel ABS. By now, the Explorer was a certified hit, and Ford decided an even more premium offering than the Eddie Bauer made sense. The Explorer Limited featured unique bumpers, color schemes, and more standard features. There were interior details that were also unique to the Limited trim level. The Eddie Bauer trim level continued with its tan interior theme. The rest of the lineup remained pretty much the same for this final year of the original body style, before the second generation would arrive in 1995. By its fourth model year, it was clear that Explorer was a game changer. The Explorer was outselling all rivals, and by a wide margin. It was clear the SUV was the vehicle of the future, and the Explorer was paving the way. This humble Bronco descendant had evolved into something much more. A vehicle that could be configured in so many ways, from basic transportation to luxury that rivaled the finest from Lincoln. Sales remained very strong for this first-generation Explorer, but the competition was catching on, and Ford knew major changes were necessary. The challenge was updating a winner, without losing the magic of what made it so successful in the first place.
We made history on the American road. Now we're looking to the future. Introducing the new Ford Explorer.
When it came time to develop the next generation Explorer, Ford decided to follow a path of simple refinement. Inside and out, the changes were a hit with the buying public and sales increased immediately. The front end in particular was radically different and now unique to the Explorer. The twin I-beam front suspension that traced its roots all the way back to the 60s was finally retired and replaced by an SLA suspension co-developed by Mazda. This new suspension configuration also made room for the 5.0-liter V8. Handling and ride quality were significantly improved and more car-like as a result of these revisions. The refreshed Explorer can now be found in many markets around the world. The redesign was implemented with global markets in mind from the beginning, which meant few changes were necessary to facilitate sales in foreign markets. The revised chassis also resulted in the development of high-performance models from the likes of Saleen and other tuners such as Kenny Brown and Explorer Express. The Saleen model in particular offered a considerable bump in horsepower and torque, thanks to a Paxton supercharger, as well as exotic for the time features such as 18-inch wheels. Further refinements for the 99 model year included revised grills and bumpers, wheel arch moldings, and a more rounded liftgate. The Explorer Limited continued to serve as the top of the range, and now featured ebony burl wood grain trim and a monochromatic exterior. The Eddie Bauer continued to provide the luxurious yet sporty persona, as it did with the previous generation Explorer. The XL and XLT models also benefited from revised bumper designs and minor upgrades. The Explorer XLS debuted for $1999. It was slightly decontented, yet sportier in appearance compared to the XLT trim level. Starting in 1998, the Explorer two-door was only available in the Sport trim level. Continuous safety and emissions improvements were implemented throughout the life of the Explorer as environmental concerns increased. Features such as traction control and parking sensors were becoming more widely available by this time. Interior appointments and trim, particularly on the higher-end models, would continue to grow even more luxurious. As the 90s drew to a close, twilight was drawing near for the original Explorer. The fundamental design had evolved and remained extremely competitive over the years. The look of both the first and second generation Explorers remains iconic to this day, and probably represents the last of the old-school body-on-frame SUVs. Somehow the sense of adventure these early Explorers evoke is unique and has never really been duplicated. The Explorer two-door would continue on its own and undergo an almost complete reskin in 2001 to share body components with the newly introduced Sport Track variant. And of course, there were also the corporate cousins worth mentioning here, including the Mercury Mountaineer, introduced in 1997, which featured a waterfall grille and more standard features, and the Mazda Navajo, which actually won 91 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. The original Explorer has held a special place in the hearts of many, and of course one reason for that is its role in Jurassic Park. And thanks to the devoted enthusiasts, this legend will never go extinct.